Welcome to another episode of Brand Lincoln, where we take a look around the Lincoln, Nebraska area and introduce you to business owners and influential people in the city. We are brought to you by Perch Merch. Perch Merch is a locally owned, custom screen printing and embroidery apparel shop that also specializes in vehicle wraps, decals, and all sorts of promotional products. If your business, school, or team is looking to expand your brand, head to perch-merch.com or call us at 402-217-5212.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Brand Lincoln. I am your host, Chris Beecham. I'm joined by my co-host, Henry Schmidt.
Hi, Chris.
And our producer, DJ Joe Cruz.
Hello, Chris.
Burrito in Joe Cruz's belly. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm fully recharged now.
From Keenan's recommendation, from Keenan's Eats, you guys got burritos and did not bring anybody else any.
You were right here when we were asking about it.
I was not, but it's fine. Anyway, before we introduce our guest, please like, follow, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Brand Lincoln Podcast. So today in the Perch Merch studio, we have Harrison Boe.
Hello there. Thank you for having me.
Of Harrison Boe.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, pretty easy to remember.
Is that a stage name or?
No, that's my name.
You just went with the real thing?
Just went with the real thing, yeah. I wasn't creative enough to think of anything else. Felt like the name fit me pretty well, so.
Got it.
If you have recommendations, listeners, on what Harrison Boe's stage name should be, please email us.
I mean, Harrison, that's a good country singer name.
It's not country, Chris.
It's like indie folk, right?
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Harrison is a good indie folk name.
I'd say so, yeah. I feel like Harrison is fairly timeless. I was not named after Harrison Ford, but that's like my headcanon namesake.
Yeah.
So that's I always say I'm named after Harrison Ford, even though it's not true at all.
Because you're a musician, I thought George Harrison maybe, so. Wrong again. All right, got it.
We're starting off spectacularly.
So what Chris was going to ask is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in Hickman, Nebraska. I went to Norris High School. I did 2 years at the University of Nebraska. I was a vocal performance major. And then I moved to Nashville for 2 years to kind of give music a shot. And then at the end of the 2 years, I moved back to Nebraska, and I've been doing music full time ever since.
So what got you into, or how did, okay.
So that was easy. Yeah, that was just like 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's it. You guys got what you need?
Yeah. Thanks for coming by.
Well under 30 minutes.
Great. So how did you start actually recording and getting to where it's serious? Because you're on tour right now, basically, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in a break between tours. I just got back, and then from kind of tours out on the East Coast, from Alabama, Nashville, Virginia, all the way up to Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York. And then I'm going out to the West Coast in September. And we've got about half the show booked, or half the tour booked right now. And it's all house shows, which I'll get more into in a little bit. But yeah, thankfully I've got kind of the month of August to chill a little bit. And then I'll be back out on tour in September.
Okay, so how did we get to where Harrison is touring?
So you went from college to Nashville to touring? Is that pretty much the steps?
That's kind of, with, like you said, a whole kind of 2 years of craziness in between. Grew up doing music. It just kind of was a part of my family. It didn't really feel like it was an option. It was just what you did in my family. And then...
Do you have siblings?
I do. Okay. I do. I have 2 brothers and a sister. It goes brother, sister, me, younger brother. And the biggest influence is probably my older brother, just because, it's an older brother, like whatever he does, I have to do. And so he came home one day and was like, I'm going to try out for show choir. And we were all kind of like, okay, sure. And then I was like, well, he does show choir, so I have to do show choir. And then sure enough, just slowly but surely, he was doing musicals, and I was like, I want to do musicals. And so he didn't really start doing that stuff till he was in high school. And once I started seeing him doing that, I was like, well, I'm just going to start doing it now. So I was probably, he's 7 years older than me, I think. So I was probably 10 when I started doing all that.
So you got a jump on him.
got to jump on him a little bit. And he's now a choir teacher, but he was the head choir teacher of Norris for a couple of years. And so he actually taught my younger brother for 1 year while he was at Norris, which was kind of like a fun full circle moment for them. I don't know that my younger brother always loved it, but yeah, so I always loved music. Just kind of, it was never not going to be part of my life. So I was kind of in the musical theater realm. I was doing, musical theater intensives, doing, weekend programs or whatever, where, I could come do master classes and whatever. And I started taking voice lessons with one of the professors at UNL at the time. And I went to UNL for 2 years with I was going to get a vocal performance degree. I knew I wanted to do something, hopefully singing in some sort of way. I just didn't really know what that was. And at the end of the second year, I had a couple of friends, Ross Grebe and Noah Flourish, ask me if I wanted to move to Nashville with them. I had met Ross a couple months earlier, and we had started working on some music together. And they asked if I wanted to come to Nashville, and it didn't seem like a vocal performance degree was going to get me into too many rooms. So I was like, let's see if I can make this happen. And I said, I'll give it a year. And if nothing happens, I'll come back. I'll probably switch my major and figure out something else to do with life. I moved down to Nashville. Things went okay. They started getting better. I started to gain a little bit more traction on TikTok and everything. Just kept releasing music.
Hold on. Stop it.
I'm trying to wrap up the 2 years. I'm trying to get it from there to tours.
But okay, so you moved to Nashville hoping to become a singer.
Yeah, an artist, yeah.
Yes. So you start. How do you start? And where do you start? Just start walking around like, hey, can I sing in here?
Yeah. A little bit.
That's a good question. I like that question, Chris. I wanted to commend you on that.
I guess thank you.
I really like the supportive environment that you guys got here.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Usually not.
Something's going on.
Putting on a really good show.
He's still trying to soften up because he didn't get him a burrito.
That burrito was good.
That's true. I am hangry now.
Yeah. Take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. I was listening to Noah Flourish's music, and I was looking for a producer to make my music. So I reached out to Ross. I sent him a voice memo of a song, and I said, would you have any interest in producing this song?
Like on Instagram?
I DM'd him on Instagram.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I have some music. Would you like to hear it? And he said, yeah, send it over. Here's my number. I texted him, sent him the song. He said, this is actually really good, because I'm sure, there are some very, very talented people in Nebraska, but it's not really like a music hub. So we were really excited to kind of find each other, and they asked if I wanted to move.
Because he's also from Nebraska.
He's from Nebraska, yeah. He lived in Omaha. I believe he went to, oh man, now I'm so upset. I think he lived in Gretna, but he went to Elkhorn South, I believe. Not that information is relevant in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, it's a Lincoln podcast.
I'm about to dox him. Yeah, just like, yeah, his address is.
We'll cut it.
Yeah. So that is basically what I started doing. I started cold emailing different venues that I knew had open mics. I Googled open mics in Nashville and started emailing them. And from there, I would go to the open mics. I would go to the songwriter night, and I would meet the other writers there, and I would get their number, and we would start talking. And just slowly but surely, Ross and I were working together this whole time making music. I met another producer who is now the guy that I pretty much make all my music with, and we just started making music. I started writing with people. They would introduce me to other people. Hopefully, I would introduce them to Ross or Noah or anybody else that I'd met. And you just slowly but surely build your network, and you slowly and surely get better, and you just keep trying to make it work, and then hopefully it does.
Okay. Well, that was a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit more
I'm sure
focused.
that the struggle was a little bit more real.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it was...
Because are you working out there? You just...
I was. I had saved up enough money. I did Solarion studies here in Nebraska, which was great. So who knows all the stuff that's in my system.
That's where you go away for like days at a time.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah, and you don't know if they're coming back or not.
Yeah. I will say
it's like Stranger Things.
It is a little bit. It honestly is. You look around and the people are getting, everything and anything put into them, and it's like, I don't really know what's going on here, but I'm getting paid.
So you sold your body
pretty much
to do music.
I pretty much did, yeah.
Nice.
I had saved up enough money from Solarion studies, and I was leading worship at First Free Church in Lincoln, and So between that, I had given myself like 6 months where if I wanted to fully do it and not have to find a job, I could do that. And so I was there in September, and I got a job in March, and I worked as a valet at the AC Hotel in downtown Nashville, which you will probably drive right by if you are going there.
You just throw your name out
Just
there.
throw my name out there, yeah.
See if you can get a free park or
I'm
something.
a really big deal. I'm a really big deal there.
I don't know. I know
Yeah.
Harrison Boe.
Actually,
Would
they came and took photos one day, and I'm now like in their official handbook.
Oh.
So
You
So
could drop
I
that.
can bring that up. Yeah.
Except all the clients
know
are
this man?
complaining that you leave CDs in their car.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
picturing too.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
This a track too.
I think I was specifically told that I couldn't mention
Oh,
like the
absolutely,
music to
yeah.
anybody.
Because
yeah.
that's what everybody's doing.
Oh, for sure. Well, also like the cliche of everyone in Nashville being a musician is pretty real. You'd go to Target and I'd be like, hey man, how's it going? Good. I'm going out to a write tonight. I was like, oh, me too. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. The guy, my main friend that I worked with almost every day for like the year and a half that I was there, was a singer in like Cirque du Soleil
Nice.
for years.
Yeah.
We had one concert that he sang backup for Paul McCartney, and now he's just working as a valet in Nashville. It's crazy, and like he loved, like he's totally vibing with his life. I shouldn't say that to
Got it.
Not,
see him.
he's
Yeah.
happy.
He's happy. He's killing it. He like did the music thing for like 25 years,
but now just wants to be around it.
yeah, just doing
Wants
his
to be around
thing.
people.
Yeah.
Just loves it. Dude, what the heck were we talking about? Oh, you asked me if I was working. I worked there for a year and a half, basically until I left. I left there. I said, hey, can you give me a month? I'm going to go do a house show tour. But don't worry, I'm going to come back. And then with about a week left in the tour, I said, hey, I'm never coming back.
Oh,
And it was the best day of my life.
we lost another good one.
I don't think that's what they said. But
So how did the tour happen? Like just
Yeah.
one day.
He's going to explain this in 3 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he'll just be like, yeah, I did this and this and,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
then
it.
I'm on tour. Listen, you need to
There's-
slow down.
I'm sorry.
Harrison.
Let me take a breath.
We don't know the
I'm
story.
sorry. There's an artist named Jordy Searcy who I really look up to, and that was like the first date that I had with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time when I moved down to Nashville. We went and saw Jordy Searcy play a concert. So I started following him, and I kind of came to appreciate the way that he had built his following and his audience. And he posted a video one day saying, if you are an independent artist and you're a smaller artist and you're trying to start touring and you're trying to promote your music, try house shows. And he said, put something out on your social media and say, if you want me to come play for you, I will come play for you. Do the shows completely free. Tell them to invite 20 plus of their friends and family and just tell them to come hang out for the night. And so that's what I did. I just posted something to my Instagram and my story, and I said, if you want me to come play, I will come play, and I'll come do it for completely free. And
That's nuts.
Yeah,
it's a little bit crazy.
I
but-
got so many things going through my head.
No,
with
please,
that
no,
now.
it's great. So the response to that was much better than I thought it was going to be. We ended up doing, my wife and I basically treated this tour as our honeymoon because we got married.
I should have thought of that.
There's still time.
Yeah. We went to Mexico, which was super great. Blew more money on it than we should have, but it was awesome. And then we did like I think 12 shows in a month all over the West Coast. So it was
So when you say house show,
sure
you're talking
Literal.
a literal
somebody's
house shows.
actual house.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like slang for
No.
like a bar.
Nope. House
You are
shows.
going to people's
I'm
houses.
talking like backyards. The first show we did, actually I was spoiled. The first show we did, the people who hosted it, they were in Utah. Sweetest people. I'm going back there on this next run.
You say Utah?
Utah. Yeah.
Utah?
I'm just double checking.
Hey, could you maybe pay attention?
He's going from Nashville to California.
He's full
Well,
from
I've
digesting
just
his
about
brew.
hit every single state now. I would like to go back and see all the different states that I've done a show in, but I would say it's upwards of 35.
Okay, so,
So-
back to Utah.
Back to Utah.
Sorry, guys.
I went to Provo, which was not too far from Salt Lake City, and I set up in their backyard. They were really big fans of the music, and at this point, I had probably about like half the following I had, I should not have started doing music full time as quickly as I did. Looking back, it was not smart, but it did get me here, so we made it.
Maybe it's not that dumb.
So they
Maybe it's
knew
not
of you
that dumb.
from your social media, and
They just listened to music. Yeah, they had found me on TikTok,
okay.
and they ended up following me on Instagram. And I posted something. They're like, "Come to Utah. We'll host you in our backyard. We'll invite a bunch of people, and we'll hang out and have a good time." So I get there, and they've got like hot dogs and chips and all these drinks, and they're like, "Dude, it's gonna be a great night." I'm like, "This is awesome." We ended up having about like 60 people show up. And that was when I was gonna try to sell tickets, but it became very clear to me that no one was gonna come if I charged tickets, even if I charged $5, because almost all the people who showed up had never listened to my music before. There was maybe 35-40% of the people who had heard the tunes before. And then also more people just kept showing up throughout the night because I was like, "Can we play the speakers really loud?" Because we were in a neighborhood. And I was
It's a promo.
It is.
Yeah.
I was like, I want everyone in this neighborhood to hear this music and go, "What the heck is going on?" And that's what happened. We had so many people, and also I purposely don't charge tickets anymore because I want more people to come. And then hopefully they hear the music for the first time and they're like, "This is actually cool." Hopefully they get a good show and they like it. And then all of a sudden, and because there's not that many people, I get to talk to every single person after the show. They have more of a personal connection with me now. And all of a sudden they want to support me. They want to help me because they want the music to reach more people. I will make 20-30x what I would make if I charged tickets, because I could only charge somewhere between like $5 and $10 for a show like this. But I'll have people come and they'll give $100
Like in a donation?
in a donation. At the end of the show, I say, I don't charge for this because I want as many people to come as possible. However, this is what I do for a living. So if you would like to support me, I sell merch. You can listen to the music, and I'll
Who makes your merch, by the way?
I have no idea, actually.
Yeah, your mom just kind of wanders around, grabs clothes.
Yeah, no,
that'd be
it's
us. We're
perch merch here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
And we know you're doing good on the merch.
Yeah, no,
So
the
they
merch
are
has been
buying
great.
it.
That's the thing is like, I got to a point, it's like, should we make merch? I don't know if anyone's going to buy merch. And then we kept selling out of merch. And apparently the merch is really sick too. At least people like it. Yeah.
Some good designs.
Yeah, some really great designs. So
you pass that around at the end. You're like, "Hey, I don't charge for tickets if you feel so inclined."
I have a tip jar. I have my Venmo, which honestly Venmo is just the way to go. It's awesome.
People aren't carrying around the
No,
cash.
people aren't carrying around cash. But I do have a tip jar now because sometimes people will see it and they're like, "Oh, I've got some cash on me.
Yeah.
I'll just throw that in." But that is sort of how I've been able to sustain myself and my wife still works. But that's how we've kind of been able to make it work. And I've just slowly but surely, the audience has just gotten bigger and I've been able to go more places and do more shows. And so for this September outing, it'll be, I believe, 19 shows in 25 days.
House show.
House shows.
So you drive there yourself.
Because I have to take all the equipment with me.
So you got a van, you got a little Honda Accord. What do you got?
You should have seen it when I drove up. It's a Dodge Journey. It's a 20, yeah.
So you just load everything up in there.
Yep.
And you just hit the road.
Just hit the road.
Just you and your wife?
My wife will not be able to come with me on
So
this
it's
trip.
just Harrison.
Just me.
Just okay.
The last time I
This
went out,
is like a movie.
It's like the Weary Con.
I seriously, every time I tell people this, they're like, "You need to start filming more content of this tour."
YouTube.
Yes.
No, and that is one thing that I've not been good about because it is low-key really cool.
Just by yourself. You can do whatever you want.
Exactly. I can literally do anything. So, yeah, it starts September 8th is the first show in Colorado, and it'll end in like southeast Oklahoma on October 1st, and I'll drive back to Nebraska from there on October 2nd.
So you pay for your own hotels and everything. They don't have to pay anything.
He stays at the house.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So
you got to
my
give me a
mom
couch.
does have a lot of friends around the country, and now I have more people that I know around the country. So I'll message them and I'll say, "Hey, I'm going to be in town on this day. I'm going to be in town one night. Can I crash here for the night? I'll be gone the next morning. You won't even know I was there."
Because that's $100 every single day that you'd be
Exactly.
spending in housing.
So I would say for this tour, I would say I would attempt to have less than 5 nights where I'm paying for a hotel or an
Holy
Airbnb,
smokes.
which compared to like my other tours is possible. I rarely stay at the place that I'm playing at, but there were some people that I met in Boston. My housing fell through and I was like, can I crash here for the night? And they're like, dude, stay as long as you want. And it was awesome.
2 weeks later.
You start to develop a Boston accent.
Yeah. Dude, I wish. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so it seems like you're hustling. I mean, you're out there hitting the road, doing it the old school way, where a lot of people now, they go on the shows, right?
Yeah.
There's like 4 different singing shows that you can be on.
I feel like there's
probably more.
4D.
You should be on The Masked Singer.
Like
That'd be a good one
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh.
whatever works. But have you ever thought about going that route?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both things. Obviously, I'm still very plugged in to TikTok and Instagram, and I try to post really consistently. You know, you try to have, viral moments as much as you can. But in terms of the singing show route, I auditioned for American Idol 4 separate times. And
Dang.
yeah, and it never really worked out. But one time I had auditioned and I'd gone through the first couple rounds of producers, and they said, we'll reach back out to you in a little bit. And a month later, I got an email from them, and they said, hey, you should come out. We're going to fly you out to California to come sing and audition for the judges and be on the show. And I was like,
perfect.
amazing,
Yeah, you
right?
did it.
Great. I thought I was going to be famous. I was like, this is the moment it's all going to happen. And I get out to California. This was September of 2020, I believe. So the worst of the pandemic is kind of
Okay.
over.
So just went over the hump.
Yeah.
Got it.
That summer.
But they're still doing the show.
They're still doing the show. They're trying to see if they can do it. There was still social distancing and everything. I haven't said social distancing in so long. It feels like it's like I feel like I'm about to
Don't
throw
say it.
up. I know.
PTSD.
I know.
Put it in
It's
the air.
horrible. Yeah, no, just cut that. Just cut that.
Yeah.
But we had all taken COVID tests and everything, multiple COVID tests to make sure that we were all good. And we fly out there, me and my mom, and we get there. I know she's the
He
best.
called her his momager.
Mom, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is not a label that I came up with, but it is a good one for sure.
So you get there, they put everybody in like a hotel.
Yeah,
Like they take over a hotel. Like I do.
Yes,
I don't know how you just see like in the shows, there's just a massive amount of people in waiting rooms,
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a resort almost. It was in Ojai, California.
Okay.
Right? I'd never been to California before, and it was kind of a resort a little bit. It was kind of tucked away in this valley, sort of, and there were hotel rooms, and we all stayed in those hotel rooms, and we had to quarantine for 2 days because we had all just taken rapid tests. But they said not to stress about it because we had all just taken COVID tests. So there was no way any of us were going to have COVID. And,
We already know where
Yeah, I was going to say, you might be a little bit ahead of me. So it's 9 p.m. I'm supposed to sing for the judges at 9 a.m. the next morning. And I'm about to have what I think is going to be, my moment.
life-changing
I'm going to,
opportunity.
this is it. I'm about to be famous. I get a call from one of the producers, and they say, "Hey, you have COVID, and we have to send you home immediately." So the next morning,
back on the plane.
well, we couldn't
You just-
take the plane.
I
because we had
assume at
COVID.
that point back then you just took that at face value. They didn't try to give you another test or anything.
We
like
asked,
that,
we were like,
or-
"Is there any way? Can I
Yeah.
take another one? Can I do
like, let's negotiate this.
You would think. You would
my
think. And they were adamant. They were like, "These are very accurate." Which, how accurate could a 48-hour test be? But they were very adamant. They were like, we know that you have COVID. The thing that was crazy is my mom tested negative.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how many people then did?
There were a couple. They assured me, they were like, you are not the only person who is about to go home without performing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Then I blame the other guy for giving me
I
COVID.
know, right? It wasn't my fault.
Just go up and punch that guy from 6 feet away.
Yeah.
Damn it, Luke
And then he
Bryan.
punched me because he blamed me. Yeah. So my mom and I rented a car and we drove home. Over like the course of 32 hours, we drove 24 hours home.
Oh my god.
And I'm not old enough to drive a rental car, which seems like a bit of a ridiculous contingency, but who am I to say? So my mom drove us 24 hours home.
Oh,
Very quiet car ride.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of talking on that car ride. But then, you kind of get to the point where someone makes one joke and you're like starting to like loosen up a little bit.
releases.
It kind of
Yeah.
releases a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. I think we watched this is also so unimportant. We watched like the making of Frozen 2 on the way home.
Oh,
I don't know if you see.
great documentary.
Great documentary.
This is a real thing.
You know, it's awesome. Be educated about this. It's an excellent documentary. It's kind of a miracle the movie got made, right? Just a little bit.
Joe, back him up here.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, yeah. You just totally disregard what I'm saying.
Joe's
He's
a
like, no,
big
you're
nut.
lying.
Joe's into that stuff.
It's great.
Yeah, me and
so
the kids. Anyway.
I think that was what we needed a really lighthearted documentary about the making of a kids movie to kind of lighten the energy a little bit.
Got it. But mom was
Disney
driving.
Match
Mom was
Show.
driving.
So she
She probably
Yeah.
wasn't watching. Huh?
No, of course not. No, I had the iPad. I was like a little iPad kid in the front seat. Yeah, watching my Frozen.
Well, you're not allowed to drive the car, so you might as well be an iPad kid.
So doesn't that what try was that?
That was number 2. I auditioned 2 more times and never made it past the producers again.
You didn't just have their direct numbers
Just
like,
say,
hey,
"Hey,
I don't
I'm
know
back."
if you
I did have
remember
the number
me.
of
I
the
don't have
producer,
COVID
but
this
she
time.
gave out her number to the people, and I felt like I had been assured that I was kind of.
I feel like you don't have to go through the next.
I thought maybe I was going to get a little bit priority because I had already done it. I had already made it.
You still got your ticket. Yeah,
the golden
ticket.
ticket.
Well,
Yes.
I did not have my golden ticket yet because that's what the judges give you.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't even get my chance at the golden ticket. But no, I auditioned and I auditioned through the exact same process over Zoom, and I explained to them what had happened, and it was kind of like, oh yeah. Well, sorry, you didn't make it.
They're like, that's crazy because you're still not getting on, buddy.
Yeah, too bad you didn't sing better this year.
Too bad you didn't get any better.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. I was like, I feel like I did get better, but apparently not. And then I also just wondered if they didn't want to have that be my story, getting on the show in that way. I don't know. It could have also.
You probably won't ever know.
It really could have just
Yeah.
been that they just didn't vibe with my voice.
Do you still try for these things though?
Not anymore. It
Got
kind
it.
of felt like maybe it wasn't. It just maybe wasn't in the cards, and also, I just kind of felt maybe there was another option. Maybe that just wasn't the route for me.
Yeah. So you're doing the hustle option.
Just trying. Yeah. If that's the only other way to do it, then yeah.
So how many songs are you putting out? Like
I try to put out a song about once every 6 to 8 weeks. That's slowed down a little bit. I've had 5 songs come out this year, and we're continuing. Me and my producer Jonathan Beard. Shout out Jonathan, I love you. Great dude, really talented producer.
I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Probably the first time you've heard about him.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, but 100%.
saying, I
Yeah,
haven't
but
heard anything bad
100% good
about
stuff. Yeah. We're always working on stuff. I just got back from Nashville like a week and a half ago. So we knocked out the next single. I drove down Friday. We did a session that night, and then we did another session the next night, and then we polished everything up Sunday morning, and then I drove home Sunday.
Okay.
So yeah,
Just like the rest of his life, I just did this, and then it's done.
And it's a lot, but there's times when I'm in Nebraska and it's kind of like, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep posting. I'm going to try to keep releasing music, but there's only kind of so much that I can do when I'm not on tour. So it feels good to me to say, hey, I'm going to take a weekend and drive to Nashville and then drive back. But it's great. I've got, I think, maybe coming up on 20 songs now released, maybe not quite that many, but it feels like there's some really good momentum right now, and that is a really valuable commodity in the music industry. So just trying to keep things moving as best I can, and try to keep doing shows, try to at least give the illusion as if things are moving in the right direction, but it feels like things have been going really, really well.
Well, I can tell you, being on this podcast, you're going to blow up.
Oh, I can't wait. Are you kidding me?
American Idol's going to be calling,
No, I know. I've made it now. This is this is kind of the moment for me.
You were asking what you
Sitting
should
at this
do when you're in
conference
Nebraska.
table.
You should just be on podcasts. That's what
Absolutely.
you should do.
Well, let's move to your oh shit moments. Besides the American Idol thing
and COVID.
and okay, let's not just. We're trying to bring him. We'll bring him up at the end.
Yeah.
Let's start bad then, since that's what we're going with.
We'll talk about all the really happy stuff, the amazing things that are going on at the end. Yeah.
Yes. So when was like an oh shit? I have to give this dream up. It's not gonna work.
Almost every day when I lived in Nashville.
Oh,
Ouch.
Almost every day. Because when I was here, I was a small fish in a much smaller pond. And then moving to Nashville, I mean, it's the pond. It's where people go if they're good at music. And to be around so many incredibly talented people, especially my roommates, the two guys that I was living with are both so incredibly talented and had started before I had. So, naturally we're just further along in their music journey than I was. And so I would kind of be upstairs in my room having to listen to this awesome music they were making every day and posting, and the videos were doing well. And I would have to sit in my room and be like, I'm struggling to write. I feel like when I do write, it's not the best. I feel like this, I just wasn't sure it was going to happen. And then one funny thing is I feel like people always tell you, you have to believe in yourself. Like if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will believe in you. And I do believe that's true. But the funny thing is I didn't really believe in myself. I just kind of did it. I was like, I don't really have any other option. It was like, I'm here. That's it. Like I either keep writing and I keep trying to get better, or I don't, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
So were your roommates like cheering you on too? Like, hey,
of course.
Do you guys
give
ever
up, buddy.
write together?
We did, yeah. We would write together, and that I would have so much anxiety because I would be in the room with them, and I would be, Ross would start making a beat or something, or throw down some chords, and I would start writing on my note, and Noah would start writing on his note, and I would eventually work up the courage to share, or I wouldn't, because Noah would have said something already, and I was like, that is so much better than what I had written.
Like, my stuff sucks.
Yes, yeah, there really was so much, kind of self-doubt.
But you're up against guys who are way more tenured in the industry and just talented individuals.
Absolutely. So they had just spent more time honing their craft, and we're just talented dudes. And so I loved living there. It was awesome, and I have no regrets, but there are definitely benefits to me not being in a place like that anymore, where I don't have to kind of feel
comparison.
Yeah, the comparison game. And I'm just a competitive person, and I'm very much like, in the worst way, my performance is my value, which is not a good thing. And so to be with other people who are always performing at a higher level than you, one, it totally can push you. And there were days when it definitely did push me to be better. But there were also days where it was like, I'm trying to get better. I'm not getting better. And these guys are just really good at what they do. So I just kind of had to keep going. Ed Sheeran has one of my all-time favorite quotes ever. Somebody asked him if he ever thought he wasn't going to make it. And he said, I knew I was going to make it because I couldn't do anything else. And that's kind of how I feel.
That's basically what you said.
That's how I feel. It's like, either I make this work or what?
Yeah.
It's like
That's a scary question.
There's really nothing else.
Well, you
for
have
me.
ballet on your resume.
Yeah.
So
It's a lengthy resume of valet parking.
Yeah. So what am I talking about? I am so sad. I got a great plan B. Yeah.
okay, so let's go happy now.
Yeah.
So, which I guess you still can't use the American Idol one because that was probably a no shit happy moment. But when's another time where you were like, you know what, we're doing it.
It's catching traction.
I'm
It's
feeling
working.
it. Feeling it.
Yeah. The first video I posted, might have been the second video. The second video I posted of my song 6 Years Wiser, was still the biggest video I've ever posted. It's got like 1.2 million views.
Okay, so just a few.
That's a number.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
number.
it's a great number. It's really nice seeing a little M next to next to the video on there.
Holy shit.
Which was awesome, and it was great. But the thing that is so crazy is there are people going viral for music every single day on TikTok. The problem is you have to go viral again and again and again and again. And
3,
again.
4, 5 times.
Exactly.
Well, especially once you see that. It's
for
something
sure.
to-
And then you don't have a video do that for a little
the
while.
other
And you're
one
like,
gets like
what's wrong with this
800,000.
one?
am I a one-hit
I
wonder?
really like
you know?
this one. I thought this one was good.
Yeah. So
And it's the second verse. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same song.
yeah. I gotta tweak that a little bit. But also, you could post the same video 7 different times, and there could be 2 times where it goes viral, and the other times it may just not do anything. There is so much luck involved. The algorithm is a monster, and that's why you just have to be consistent. You have to work really hard to get lucky. You just have to keep posting and being consistent, because if you post one time in 100 days and you say, I didn't go viral, shoot,
I'm giving up.
I'm giving up.
That was it?
Now, sure, maybe. But if you post 99 times in that 100 days, all of a sudden the the chances of you reaching the right audience and the right people and the people who will like your music and follow you just goes up by an absurd number. So it's just consistency. And I had so many of those moments where it was like, finally, after posting all these videos, there's a song that did 500,000 views or 400,000 or whatever.
I'm not trying to be negative.
No, please.
But
that's my wheelhouse. Have you listened to the music?
But I assume, what's it like reading the comments on that? Because people are dicks on social media.
Yeah,
you know,
they definitely can be. I have rarely been big enough for people to hate me.
Got it.
And obviously, every once in a while, I will run into a comment where it's just like, this is a bad song. Like, just straight up. They're like, no.
And they don't have a profile picture. It's a bunch of
user 2345, that whatever.
This song sucks.
Yeah. But honestly, the most
Never having
experience...
them over to my house for a show.
Yeah.
For a free show.
His tickets are so expensive. I would never pay to go to one of his shows.
No wonder why you can't charge.
Yeah. That I have not gotten that, but honestly, if I did, I'd be like, well played, man. Like,
It's going to be
Checkmate.
Joe on
Yeah,
his
seriously.
next
I
video,
follow you now,
too.
yeah.
yeah, Joe's just sitting behind a laptop all day, just writing hate comments.
Just laughing.
Yeah. Honestly, my biggest experience with that was my biggest video. And it's kind of the same. It's like the people who are telling me how much they love the song. It's awesome. But, they don't know me as a person, the same way that people who don't like the song don't know me as a person. And, you try to not take it personally, even though the music and so many artists' music, it is your soul. It is hard to put out a song like 6 Years Wiser. That is one of the most personal songs I've written. And to have somebody say, I don't like this, because it's like, what does that say about me?
Yeah,
If you don't like what I
Well,
feel
if you don't
is
like
my heart
this,
and
then you
soul.
don't like me.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. And people are not going to like you sometimes. It just is what it is. And I'm really good at saying that on podcasts. And then I'm going to go home later and read a mean text and be like, "You shut up right now."
User Joe Cruz said,
But it's been a really slow. There haven't been a whole lot of like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening" moments. It's been a lot of like, it's still going. We're still moving forward. It's
Yeah,
still
you are
happening.
very young in your career.
Sure,
You're young,
totally.
period. But how old are you?
23.
Okay. So
Oh my gosh.
you got, and you're working, I'm pretty sure, 10 times harder than 90% of.
Man, I'd like to think
23-year-old.
so. I'd like to think so.
So, that can only go up.
For sure. And when you move to Nashville, almost across the board, people will tell you it's a 5-year town. You kind of got to, I said I was going to give it a year and see if there was anything happening. And I would kind of mention that to people, and they were like, even if there isn't anything happening, you would still be, an infant in your time here. And again, we were talking about Chapel Roan. She slugged it out for years and slowly but surely built her following. And now she's huge, one of the biggest
Selling
artists in the
out
world.
Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's so authentically herself that people love her. They love her. She didn't have to change her music. She stuck to her guns. She was like, this is what I want to say. This is how I want to say it. And she eventually, you find your people. If the music is good enough, eventually, if you post it enough, if you promote it enough, it's going to find its people.
That's true. All right.
It's just not for Joe.
Just
Yeah.
it wasn't really. I don't like guitars that much.
Wow.
What a blanket statement. You don't like guitars?
I don't like guitars.
Cut my finger on a string once.
I was just going to say, you for sure had a bad experience when you were like 4. Right on.
All right. Well, go ahead, fellas.
Well, Harrison, while you're here in Lincoln and not touring the
houses.
all the
Yeah.
houses in the 50
houses.
states,
The huge venues I'm playing.
Yeah.
What do you
sold
like-
out shows. There's literally not a ticket for sale.
If one person shows up, yeah.
That could be the slogan on the shirt.
Yeah.
Not a ticket for sale.
Joe, your question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot
Joe.
what I was
No wonder he hates the music. We never let him talk.
He's still thinking about guitars.
what are things that you like to do here in Lincoln?
Yeah.
Entertainment, dinner, or restaurants wise? And
Totally. Man, the membership that I have at the YMCA here in Lincoln has paid for itself 400 times over. I love that Y so much. Cooper. I'll go to
Y.
Koppel every once in a while, but Cooper's where it's at for me.
yeah,
I'm trying to think of hyper specific Lincoln places. Give me a second. I know you'll have to cut this out, but let me think of like.
No, we're gonna stay here and we're gonna
Soak it up.
Here we go.
not edit out the pause.
I just went and played.
Play some Harrison Boe music in this time.
yeah. I went and played Pioneers Golf Course the other day. Shot horribly. It was a great time. I'm trying to think. Honestly, my wife and I's go-to dinner spot is Laszlo's.
Yep.
Love Laszlo's. I found out the pastor at the church I go to, he asked them for their creamy garlic recipe one time, and the waitress gave it to him. But you can only make it by the gallon. So he sent me a picture one time, and I have yet to make an attempt to try to like size it down. But we would go just for their fries. We would go just to eat their fries and creamy garlic sauce.
Nice.
I still miss the beer bread. I wish they would bring that back. So.
Yeah.
I did think of one other question I forgot I was going to ask. Do you have like favorite houses you've been to, like, or just
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah,
I played a show for a bunch of kids from TCU. Probably the best show I've done.
yeah,
They were amazing. There were a bunch of like musical theater kids. They were all in the program. They were so cool. There's just kind of musical theater people are very supportive of other musical theater people and just music in general. They want music to succeed. And so they cheered really loud. If people knew the songs, they were singing it out, which was
Nice.
really cool. I think
Yeah.
that was maybe one of the first times I'd ever heard people singing my songs. That place will always be up there for me. And I've still got the guy's number that hosted, and I think he's actually maybe going to release some music at some time soon. So there have been very few that I was like, that was weird. Probably wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
But most of them have been amazing. I'm very grateful to everyone who's hosted.
Well, thank you very much for
Thank you
coming on today.
so much for
was fun.
having me.
That was fun.
Thank you for.
I wish you all the luck in the world.
I really appreciate
and we'll be
it.
following you. And,
if you
so
kn-
where does everybody find you at?
Yeah, it's just Harrison Boe on Instagram, TikTok. It is just my name. Spotify. Following my Instagram right now is really great for me because that is really just your business card in the music industry. And so the more people that follow that, that is a great way to support me if you don't do anything else.
Got it. We'll do it.
Appreciate you guys.
Hope everybody else does.
Thanks, Harrison.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
thank you.